Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. We back, y'all. Thanks for staying with us. Be down with us tonight at 804-402-2893. Be down with the flagship show, Legacy Internet Radio. Thank y'all, everybody listening to us right now on TuneIn. Thank you, everybody that's listening to us right now on our replays on YouTube. And, of course, as we do at this time every single week. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, I got a comment. Let me get a comment in. Hakeem listening to us. Hakeem is alluding to the last story that we just did. He says that he thinks that it was an accident, a horrible accident, because someone lost their life and because the tension that already exists between the police and the black community. 100% agree with you on that one. Couldn't have said it better, my brother. All right, at this time of the show, we did it earlier, and we're doing it again. It's time for my sister and yours, Dating Pool Diva, to hit us off with the Diva Diaries. What you got, girl? Diva Diaries.
I don't hear my music.
They can hear it, man.
Oh.
Go ahead and do your dance.
Okay. So you gonna mock me there, huh?
Of course. That's what I do.
All right. I know y'all couldn't wait for the Diva Diaries. The best part of the night.
That's what we're here for.
All right, I'm going to direct this question to the whole group, but I'm going to start with my friend, Mr. Broderick Thomas. I'm going to start with you.
How did I know that was going?
Because you are the professional husband, and you may have some really good insight on this one. What does marriage mean to you? Some say it is merely a legal contract between two people, an exchange of services, i.e. money for sex. Others believe it is much deeper than a contract, for it is a covenant or bond between the couple and their higher power. What do you believe and why?
Well, I can answer that one quickly. I believe in this second one, the covenant. I learned not too long ago that the difference between a contract and a covenant is that a contract is founded on law, a covenant is founded on love.
Okay.
And so in looking at it from that perspective, when you enter into covenant with another person, you're literally taking on a part of them and they take on a part of you. It's the exchange of who you are. And so for me, you know, at this stage of my life, marriage is much more sincere, much more intense. And it's really about being able to spend the rest of your life with somebody and not just spend the rest of your life, but being able to build a life with that person. So it's, you know, it definitely is to me more covenant than contract.
Okay, that was a great perspective. Mr. Joe?
I'm going to roll with Broderick on that one because, yep, that's what I'm going to do.
The high road.
I'm going to roll with Broderick on that one.
Okay, all right. That's why.
I'm following behind Joe, who's following behind Roderick.
Oh, my God. Obviously, this is not a conversation or a question, rather. It's not a question.
You know, my thoughts on marriage are just, you know, they're just about to go out the window, so I'm just going to follow.
Okay.
I will say this, though, if I can elaborate a little bit more.
Oh, sure.
Please.
Professional husband.
The problem that we're facing, though, is that too many people are transitioning over to the first option. It is a contract. You know, it's about what I came in with, what you came in with.
Yep.
And either you're going to do it my way or I'm going to do it your way. And if we don't, you take your stuff and go home. I'm going to take my stuff and go home. You know, I find it so ironic that it is very easy for people to get out of marriage these days. And I think that's just from a lack of, particularly in our own people. And I think that's just from a perspective of nobody want to work no more. It's just like, you know, if it ain't what it's supposed to be and it ain't what I'm looking for and it ain't right and I don't like it, then let's go. I mean, and I mean, I can say this, having been divorced 5 times, you can get an uncontested divorce for $365 in 2 hours of your time.
$299.97.
Wow.
Okay, somebody got a special going on.
Yep.
So, you understand what I'm saying? So it is that simple for you to say, you know what, I'm tired of him or I'm tired of her and I want out and go and take that route, when realistically the investment of some more time and some conversation could possibly save the marriage and give you something that's far greater than what you're going to have being separate.
Hey, but Broderick, I want to elaborate on what you said, but that's the problem that we're having in our society now. We don't care about that person to begin with.
There we go.
That's the whole issue. That's, love is one of those things, but you don't care about a person to begin with. If you don't know that person, if you don't spend the time and put the time and effort in before you get married, your marriage is not going to blossom, period.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go with Broderick again.
Yeah, well, I agree. That's what I was getting ready to say. If you don't take the time to know each other, to learn each other, when you just say, okay, I think I like this well enough, I might go ahead and try. That's not marriage. That's not what you do for marriage. I've got to feel so deep that I want to spend my life with you, spend all my time with you, and I need you to feel the same way too.
Yeah.
Other than that, if you can't finish a sentence for me, I can't finish the sentence for you, you don't know a thought for me and I can't answer a thought for you, all that little stuff that makes you know me and me know you, us want to, spend all that time, there's no need for us to make like we're becoming one.
Absolutely.
Right.
And then you have to be committed to it. If you make the choice, be committed to it.
Yep.
I tell my girlfriend all the time, and I don't know if she thinks it's funny or not, but if we get married, you in this for life. I will never sign another set of divorce papers in my life. So, make sure.
Right.
For me, my time is up.
Sounds
Just so for anybody that knows me, and if you listen to the story that I've heard 5 times, know that if I do it again, it will be the absolute last time. I will never sign another set of divorce papers. So that's the commitment I will take going into it.
That's what marriage should be. Like when we say I do, and that till death do us part, that's when we separate. One of us is missing, if not both of us at the same time.
Absolutely.
That's what separates us. That's how long it works.
Broderick, I'm going to ask you a personal question. You don't have to answer it, but I wanted to ask, is the fact that you went through the 5 divorces, marriages, and then divorces, the fact that it was so easy, it was cheap, is that the reason why you were able, or you felt that you could just keep marrying and get a divorce because of that?
No, for me it wasn't. I can honestly say that in all of my marriages, I went into them thinking that they would last forever. Okay. I never devalued it to the point of, this is just a temporary thing. I got an escape route or an escape plan if I need to. So, things happened, things went wrong. My marriage just failed because, one, I didn't know how to do exactly what I was just talking about, and that was to make that commitment. And two, I can honestly, after evaluating myself, particularly as a younger man, I was very selfish. I was a selfish man. I can say that now because I've had to learn how to practice to be selfless. And that's not, we talked about it earlier, it's not easy. It's something you got to work at. But before, I wasn't even thinking about that. I want what I want. I need you to do it my way. I need you to, set up the Burger King shop. I want it my way. Right. And if it wasn't right, when it was all over, if I wanted to get out, then that was that, and I gave up on it far too easy in most of those situations. So, well,
thank you for answering that. I didn't really think you were that kind of person, but
I'm an open book, charisma. You know that.
I wanted to ask you that.
I need to hide nothing now.
Marcus J., you're quiet over there.
I haven't been asked a question.
Professional husband, number 2. You are a husband.
I'm not professional at it, that's for sure.
What do you think?
Well, I don't want to jump on the Broderick bandwagon, but you make a good point when you talk about a contract and a covenant. As far as the contract is concerned, it is legal. At least in this part of the world, it is. You can't get married and you can't get divorced without there being some legalities to it. And marriages in this part of the world are supposedly about love. But worldwide, if you look at how the world is, it's not always like that. It's sometimes it's set up based on convenience. Sometimes it's set up based upon how you live, your family structure, and things like that. And so I think that, to be completely frank, I think it's kind of all of that, you know? I mean, so you're not going to marry somebody that's inconvenient. You're not going to marry somebody that's incompatible, at least not at the time. So you would want to be with someone that you can have a lifelong compatibility with. It doesn't always work out to be that way. And I understand where Broderick's coming from when you say that you want to work at it, but sometimes you wear out. And, you know, I'm not going to look at somebody that kind of checked out as if there's something wrong with them, because, you know, at the end of the day, if everybody ain't doing their part, then
Right.
I mean, what you doing here? You know, are you gonna continue to fight when you're the only one that's fighting? You know what I mean? If you fighting at 100% and you with somebody that's fighting 75, I mean, so, I mean, in a perfect world, you know, marriage is 200%. You got two people giving 100% in a perfect world. Doesn't always work out that way.
Right.
Never works that way.
And it may fluctuate too. I mean, you may have periods where someone's going through something and the other person has to take the weight, and vice versa. You know, that's what a true relationship, a marriage is about.
Right.
So, Joe, I see you itching over there. You got to say something. No, I saw you itching. You had something to add.
No, I won't itch it. I'm good.
Now you good. You quiet.
It's just
okay.
I think that
Okay.
it's not a coincidence that literally half the people who get married get divorced. And then I would wonder, of the half that stayed married, how many of them wish they could get divorced? You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, when I think about some of the comments that you made, Broderick, I mean, it's daunting. It really is, for someone that's about to embark on that. Because it's like, I mean, it's one thing if you're in it, you know, but if you're about to embark on it, it's like, man, I mean, like, I remember there was a time where I was hanging out with a couple of my friends, and 3 of us at the time were married and 1 wasn't. And the one that wasn't married is about to get married. This was a conversation that was 10 years ago, but he was just like, there's no freaking way, man. I'm not doing that. You guys are miserable.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, it's hard to articulate it without sounding disrespectful. But the truth, that's kind of how guys talk.
Right.
That's at least how we talk amongst each other. And like you said, Broderick, you want to be an open book, so you want to keep it 100. But that's just kind of how guys talk. And the one guy who wasn't married, he was just like, man, I don't know, man. The way y'all talking right now, it's like crazy. He won't be much longer. The question was, is he still single? And I'm saying he won't be much longer. But this conversation was 10 years ago.
So now he crazy too.
He about to
Sooner or
lose
later
his
we all go
he's
crazy.
About to lose his mind. Yep. I'll be standing next to him, looking at him like, you big dummy.
We tried to warn you.
You don't listen.
All right. Let's transition to some letters. We have some Dear Diva letters here. And they're both anonymous.
Tell us their names.
I can't tell you their names.
Okay.
So they're going to write a letter and then don't want to know who they are. Really?
Just let us read it. You don't have to tell us.
Yeah.
There's nobody you know.
Oh, okay. That's even better.
All right.
And
Dear
it's paper
Diva.
too. It's paper too. So they mailed these to you?
No, this person wrote it for me.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
And I might have some difficulty because you could see it's
Oh, my
a
God.
lot of notes on the side and a lot going on there.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to try my best.
Is that girl handwriting or
Yeah,
boy
she look
handwriting?
mad.
Dear Diva, I have a friend of 1 year who clearly has loyalty issues. I'm torn in redeeming our friendship or just letting it go altogether. She says I'm her best friend, but will go against the grain when I ask her not to do something. For example, asking my sister to be friends even though I asked her not to because of our strained relationship. She also complains about other friends saying she doesn't want to deal with them, but continues to do it anyway. Because I don't think she is loyal to me, I do not consider for her to be my best friend. I do not have many friends, and so before I lose another, I want to know, what should I do? Is her lack of loyalty enough to cause my friendship to end? Sincerely, Torn Companion. All right, I see a lot of puzzled and bewildered faces. Let me see who I'm going to start with. Dang, that's why it has checked out.
I got a question.
You want to answer?
Well,
What you think?
In any friendship, you can't say best friend. You've got to really know this person. In any friendship, when there is a level of distrust or disloyalty, this person is not your friend. That's just that. That's more than enough right there to sever your relationship with that person. It can't get any better, because if that person says that they're your friend, then these things would not be happening. If they shared the same values as what a friend is, these things would not be happening. Right. So, in my opinion, it would be best to sever that relationship before it gets worse, before, the situation becomes something it shouldn't. It's a little stressful.
Okay. Mr. Joe, I see you itching again. And don't tell me you weren't, because you had a real funny looking face.
I'm twitching this time.
He was having some Parkinson's,
really
and something was going on over there.
I'm not sure that I even understand the question.
The letter was kind of convoluted because
basically what she's saying is, my best friend, or the person that calls me her best friend, is going behind my back and doing things that I consider to be disloyal or not loyal.
Okay.
But I specifically asked her not to go, and try to be buddies with my sister, because me and my sister got issues. But she goes and does it anyway. Okay. She says also she always complains to her that she has friends that have stabbed her in the back, mistreated her or whatever, but she continues to hang with them anyway. So she's questioning, is this a good friend? The fact that she kind of goes back and forth on things, and she's not trustworthy, maybe is the word. I don't know what you
Okay,
would say.
I hear a couple of things. First of all, is that a jealousy issue?
Yep.
I mean, it sounds to me that's you have issues with your own self. Hence, you have issues with somebody else. You need to learn to let go of your issues. Why can't I be friends with just, that bond that I make with your sister might eventually help you. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And then I'm like, okay, so people do stupid stuff. Yeah. I mean, I tell Marcus J all the time, I'm like, well, no, I take that back. Marcus J has told me that, I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I'm like, no, I don't. He said, yes, you do. I said, no, I don't. Yes, you do. Now, is that just because I don't agree with him, does that make him unloyal? No, that just makes him a person who cares about me as a person.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I do think it's something within, because don't be her friend because I'm really not her friend. That's really what I'm hearing.
Are we in
sixth
grade?
If I'm with some people who I say have done some things to me, and now you're mad because, well, why are you still hanging out with them because they do these things to you? Then how about we stop for a second, ask yourself that same question. If somebody's doing something to you who's supposed to be your friend and you find it disloyal, then why are you still trying to be bothered with that person? It may be the same reason that person is still talking to that person. But to say don't make friends with this person because of whatever relationship I have with somebody, that's something wrong.
That's internal.
That's something else.
So with that advice, SY, do you change your perception on her friendship?
Well, no, she already finds the friendship disloyal.
Okay.
And I don't know actually if it's the friend who's being disloyal or if it's this person who's having a problem just being a friend. Because in being a friend. Now, Friends, we fight, we argue, we do the same things as family members do. We don't always do things that we all agree with as friends, just like we don't as family. But you've got to let people be themselves. As a friend, you're that person's friend because of who they are with you, not because that person is with somebody else. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you've got to let, if I'm your friend, Diva, because of who you are.
Right.
You know, we have a relationship. I'm your friend because of that. I'm not going to not be your friend because you're talking to Joe and I know Joe did something to you and you don't like it or whatever. I can't say I'm not your friend now because of that. I'm your friend for our personal reasons.
Well, what if Joe was disrespectful to me, cussed me out, beat me and everything else? And me and you are best friends. I'm just using you as an example. I'm sorry, Mr. Joe. He disrespected me terribly. And now you want to be his best friend.
Okay, see, this is a problem with you. This is a problem inside you.
No, I can't roll with that one. That's why.
Hold on a second. I'm not done. I'm not done. Why are you even still relating to Joe? Why do you even still have words with Joe?
I don't have words with Joe. We don't deal with each other no more. But me and you are friends, and now you and him are friends. What kind of mess is that after he done beat me up and cussed me out?
If Joe has beat you up, cussed you out, I don't even want to be involved with Joe.
But let's say you did.
No.
Would you be loyal?
No, I would not. I can't even fake the answer on that. I'm sorry, because I don't go for abuse. So I would not be Joe's friend. I would not want to talk to Joe, say hi to Joe. Joe would get some words from me that.
But we don't know. Her sister could be like Joe.
Okay, but you can't.
The fake Joe, not the real Joe.
You know, everybody loves.
He is not an abuser, by the way. Let me make that disclaimer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Or at least I don't know he is.
You should see him over here pouting too.
Let's say that again. We do not want to taint his image. He is not an abuser. We're using him.
Like this in front of my face.
You know how you tell your kids you can say everything you want to help them along the way. You can teach them everything you can teach them to help them along the way. But you know as well as I know that sometimes they got to go the hard way. They got to learn the hard way. Right. And it's nothing that you can do about it.
Church.
It's a life lesson. So if you feel that you want to learn it the hard way, that's how you're going to understand. It has to happen to you without me saying. It's just like you don't badmouth this one's dad or this one's mom or this one's family, whatever. Let them learn for themselves.
Right.
Let them see it for themselves.
Okay.
And then they make their own decision. You can't do it for them. But if it bothers you that much, then that's a friendship that you can't deal with. So then you would separate yourself. I would separate myself from it if I had these deep feelings in it. It's stress. It's stress.
Okay.
I would separate myself from it. Who wants it?
Right. Broderick, what do you think? Would you feel similar to the person in the letter, or do you agree with SY on this matter?
I think for me, it would be kind of short and sweet, because anytime you have to wonder if somebody is your friend and you got to write letters to ask the question, I think the question's already been answered. You know, so for me, if I don't know that you're my friend and I don't feel like that, even if we, like you said, we have our disagreements and there are issues, but I can know that people I've had issues with are still my friend. They've been there to support me, to help me. They still have my best interest at heart. But if I got to wonder about that, there's no need in trying to invest any more time or energy for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Marcus J?
Yeah, I agree with Broderick. I mean, anytime you have to ask another person advice on a friend, then I question the level of friendship, because ultimately, shouldn't you be able to go to that person and say, hey, look, the behavior that you're exhibiting right now makes me feel like this. And, you know, at that point, they're going to do what they're going to do, and you got to respect that one way or the other, you know. And I just have a hard time with, you're my friend, but I don't want you to be friends with that person.
Can I add a component that I haven't said yet?
Sure.
This person's friend has become more and more distant and is now closer with the sister. So she doesn't really talk to her as much as she used to. And, you know, they've kind of, I guess, built their own friendship, their own alliance together.
I just don't see. I'm gonna come at it from a guy's perspective, and this is not to disparage women. That's why I'm gonna say it as men. We don't do that.
Right.
Yeah,
Y'all not emotional with that kind of
We
stuff.
don't do that, and so I don't know that it would be appropriate. I don't want to be disrespectful to the author of that letter, but in my personal opinion, I can't relate to that because I'll give you an example. Joe and I have been friends for almost 20 years, and we have friends that have come and gone that have been friends of us. We've got friends that I've had that have come into our network. We've had friends that he's had that have come into our network, and we had friends that we met all at the same time. I don't care who he talks to. I really don't. I don't care who he talks to. He's one of my best friends in the whole world, and I call him my big brother. Yeah.
Big Brother Joe.
Big Brother Joe. We call him that for a reason, but Mama J told me that I get too mushy. But in all seriousness, I don't care who he talks to.
Yeah, well, I mean, what difference would it make it's like him. I don't, so?
What if that person did you wrong?
Then they did me wrong. I don't care. See, that's, once again, we go back to this guy thing. Guys don't think, we're not wired like that. Now.
Yeah, females, we like ride or die. Like, you know,
No.
if I don't like her, you don't like her either.
Oh, it's not that we're not ride or die.
Nah.
Trust and believe that.
Yeah.
But I can differentiate between the fact that if I don't like you, guess what? I can go sit right there with Marcus at Marcus's house and chill with Marcus. It has nothing to do.
And we've done it.
Yeah, trust me.
and we've done it. Yeah.
I'm like, so, and guess what? I can be, and because Marcus is my friend, I can be cordial. I don't have to be your friend to be cordial.
Right.
See, I can go get you a beer and set it right there, and I'm gonna go back on over here in this corner and sit down.
And keep it 100 out of respect for his ultimate friend.
Yeah, out of
Right.
respect
You know
for
what I
my
mean?
friend.
Now, maybe I missed something in the reading of the letter, and I will admit that maybe I did. But if we can specifically say that there was some wrongdoing towards a person, that'd be one thing. Did you do me wrong, or did you do my friend wrong? That'd be one thing. Is it just, we kind of beginning to grow out of being close, and you have developed a closeness with someone that 100% on the heels of knowing me? If that is the situation that we're dealing with here, then I can't roll with that, because I can't relate to that. That's not something that, as he said, I'm not wired to have a problem with that.
And the other thing, I mean, that's why I made a point that you're bringing in a lot of stress over a friendship. A friendship is supposed to be designed to enhance your life.
Right.
So if it's causing you all of that level of stress and headaches and worry and whatever, you need to cut that loose. I mean, it's just,
I would agree.
It's not that serious.
Definitely would agree. And maybe there needs to be some kind of work on her relationship with her sister, that it's so uncomfortable that her best friend wants to be friends with her sister. Like there's something going on there that needs to be repaired as well.
But just listening at that, you can't go to your sister until you deal with you.
True.
She already said she don't have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
There's probably a reason
Why
for that.
don't you have a lot of friends? Is it something that you're doing?
Or
Is
not
it an
doing
aura that you put up on? Not trying to badmouth, but you got to look inside yourself first.
Right. That is where true healing begins, with yourself. Okay. Do we want to take a break at this point, or
No,
we
we'll
want to
keep going.
continue?
Yeah, we'll keep
Okay.
going. Yeah.
I have another anonymous letter with two different questions posed. The first one: how do you deal with your significant other putting the needs of others ahead of you? Anybody want to chime in first on that one?
That don't happen.
That don't happen?
No.
Okay.
Next.
I mean, that's easy.
Next. Okay, that was quick.
That's an easy thing to say there, big bro. But that's tough, because we all want to be the center of attention. We all want to We all want to be the center of attention, and so I'm sorry, somebody was showing me something. And when you find that you're not, ultimately, you know, you're gonna feel some kind of way. When you say, how do you deal with it? I mean, you gotta talk. I mean, that's the key. I mean, you gotta explain, or you gotta make plain what you feel about a situation. If you don't do that, then you don't really have a leg to stand. It's like people complain about politics when they didn't vote.
Right,
You
right.
know what I'm saying? Like if you're not sharing what is upsetting you, you know, once you do that, once you say, all right, look, this is what's upsetting me, then it's on the other person to
Right.
react.
It's
And
the ball's in their
and
court.
they don't do nothing.
Right.
And this just in, did we get this from?
It came from one of our people down in Charlotte.
You want
from Chantel.
You want to read that?
Yeah. From what I'm getting right now, it says in the case of Michael Brown, they decided no probable cause to indict.
Oh my goodness.
So
yeah, I'm gonna have to do some little bit of research.
I'm seeing it all over.
Listening to it?
I'm seeing it all over social media right now.
Wow.
There is no indictment. So we'll come back to that. Let's finish up what we're doing.
Hard to focus after that.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's a double-edged sword, though, Ms.
want,
Charisma.
I want to make sure that we give you the diaries the proper.
Oh yeah.
There'll be plenty of time for us to talk about that. No question.
I think that your statement still is a double-edged sword too.
What's that?
Well, I mean, how do you? What you said?
Deal with your significant other, putting the needs of others ahead of you.
Once again, you know, like, okay, I'll have to go back. I'm gonna have to agree with Marcus. You gotta. I said no, it doesn't happen, and I say no, it doesn't happen from my point of view.
Right.
I said because I feel that you don't do that to the brother. Yo, that's what you've been preaching all night, isn't it?
Yeah, I think though for me, I need to know who the others are, because I think for my significant other, there are certain people that you're going to take a back seat to. If it's your parents, if it's your child or something along those lines, then naturally sometimes their needs are going to come before mine. But I'll submit this to you. If those people are important enough to you, then they should be important enough to me to where now we're putting their needs to collectively. So if your parents have an issue, I should not be sitting back and watching you having to, you know, go to and from to take care of that issue while the whole time crying about, well, you neglecting me. I should be with you to make sure your parents are okay, because if they're important to you, they should be important to me. Same thing with a child or whatever. So if they are having issues about other people having to pull on their time or whatever, sounds like they got some work to do to kind of get a little bit closer and learn how to take care of each other as well. Now, if it's just a homegirl or a homeboy or something like that, or a coworker or whatever, then yeah, I'm like, Marcus, we gotta have a talk. But if it's somebody significant, then that should be something we're working on together.
That's why. What do you think?
Well, I have to tell you, that one is real close to home. And that issue, for me, I tried my best to work with that issue to find out, you know, what was happening. You know, here's where the gap is. Here's my problem. Here's what's happening that I can't seem to deal with. We need to fix this, blah, 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 the whole back and forth. But it always seemed like, all right, yeah, we'll do that. And then those other issues or those other people were more of a concern still than I was. So it got to the point where after so many conversations about this, you know, how long would it take me to realize that I'm actually on the back burner? And so once I realize I'm on the back burner, I can't stay there. So then I have to remove myself from the situation.
Okay.
And so that's what you do.
And you did address it before.
I've addressed it several times
Okay.
prior to. And it just didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't matter. So it has to matter to me if I want to not matter at all and call myself, you know, involved or in a relationship.
Right.
Or do I just move on? And there again, you know, like we spoke about earlier, is added stress.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really too heavy an amount of stress to deal with. So you remove yourself from the situation. You deal with the stress of the aftermath if you have to, which I did.
Right.
And now you put on your headlights and move on.
Well, I
So-
commend you for being able to do that, because some people will stay in a stressful relationship just to say, I'm involved. I have a boyfriend,
That's
girlfriend, or
self-esteem
whatever.
problem.
Yeah. It is.
So I may have 99 problems, self-esteem ain't one.
Right.
So-
Well, that's good, because
So.
with high self-esteem, you can handle a lot of
Mhm.
problems. So that's good. I know we're kind of all blown away by the news update. Do we want to transition to the next question, or
Let's go. Let's do
Okay.
it.
All right. The second part
I'll
of
give everybody an opportunity when we close out and do
Okay.
our rants and our closings. If anybody wants to say anything, then that'll be the time to do it. But I want to make sure that, we're here to talk about the relationships in the Diva Diaries, and so that I want to make sure we give it.
We stay focused. a
We
little
stay
bit.
focused,
Mhm.
and we do that. So let's.
okay.
let's,
I
let's
thank you for that respect.
Yeah, absolutely.
The second part of the anonymous person's letter: a female has been in a relationship with her man for about a year now, but it seems like the relationship is one-sided and he's not communicating like he should. What should she do? Okay, SY is laughing, so she will
It
be
just
first.
sounds like the last one. I mean, just buy. How many times do you have to, as much as some people, I won't say all, as much as some people, and I'll include myself in that,
Mhm.
want to be in a committed relationship. I even at one point wanted to get married. That marriage thing for me is out the window. But you still want to be in a relationship where you can hold a conversation with your partner, no matter what it is. And if you can't do it, what are you doing?
Right.
How do you have a relationship and there's no conversation?
Communication is definitely key.
How do you have it? So I don't understand that person's question. You remove yourself from this situation. This is not the situation for you.
Right.
If they 99.9% of the time, if you think about what you want and you know what you want, you know that right there is not it. And then you would move on. It's a waste of your time.
Okay.
I had to ask, was this sent in to you in the format that it is? Because I'm being...
Yes, that's exactly.
This is exactly how it's.
that's
So this is somebody else looking into somebody else's relationship. I mean, from the wording,
Or
a
it
female
could be
has
a
been in a
cover-up.
relationship with
We
her
don't know.
man for about a year now, but it seems like the relationship is one-sided. It seems like the relationship is one-sided. Either it's one-sided or it's not. I don't get the whole seems like.
Mhm.
And he's
Well-
not communicating like he should. First of all, how should he communicate?
And it's not your man. He's
I
not
mean,
talking to you.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm just saying though, what is he not communicating? Is it that I tell folks all the time? Is it the message, or is it that you don't like the message that's being delivered?
Mhm.
I mean,
Right.
you might not like the message. It doesn't mean the message is wrong.
Right.
You just might not like the way that it's coming across, and you want to be stomping your feet because you're not getting your way. What
Yeah.
should you do? Go find you somebody else to play with.
Okay.
Take your ball and go in.
So kind of agree with SY. Keep it moving. You shouldn't try to fight for it at all, or
No, but I'm just saying you still have to make that but nobody can make that determination but you.
right.
Are
Right,
you
right.
fighting for your relationship? Is that what you're truly doing?
Mhm.
Just sitting there making excuses for what somebody else is not doing.
Okay, Mr. Broderick, what do you think?
For me, I will say that this past weekend I was listening to my girlfriend and my sister talk about, and I guess this is a book that's called "He's Just Not That Into You." Is it a book
Yeah,
or
I
a
love
movie or
that book.
something? And so I was listening to all these different scenarios, which I found rather interesting. But to me, that sounds like one of them. I mean, if you've been with a man for a year and he not talking to you, or y'all can't talk, whatever the case may be, perhaps he's just not that into you. Because I know for me, a woman has my attention when I enjoy having a conversation with her. And I think I'll speak for the men. Normally, we don't like to just talk about, feelings and all that kind of stuff, or have conversations that we don't necessarily want to be in. But if you can capture my attention and I enjoy talking to you, then that means you mean something to me. So if she's having those kinds of issues to where, this dude is just not communicating with her and it's been a year, I think that book applies. He just ain't there.
Right. I'm glad you brought that book up. It's an excellent read. Anybody out there, any females especially, I don't know if they have a male's version, but I saw the movie too.
Maybe I'll write one.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Mark,
And you can give me half the proceeds because I gave you the idea.
Oh my God. Half? What would that look like?
Maybe she's not. Maybe she's just too into
I
herself.
ain't making
Yeah.
no money. So
Maybe.
make some money.
Wow. My goodness.
Oh, okay.
The Black
Yeah.
Woman's Guide said he's just not that into you.
Okay.
Marcus, we can write a book.
Yeah.
We should write a book. All the stuff we done.
It would be
I don't
bigger than the Bible.
Okay, but you're going to have to wait for that statute of limitations to run out.
Yeah,
there,
we need
bruh.
some time. Thin sheeted papers like this big and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, if he's not communicating, I think one of the things that we haven't addressed, and I know I'm gonna take some heat for this one, but oftentimes men, particularly our men, black men, don't know how to communicate because they weren't properly taught. They didn't see positive examples of male and female relationships coming up. And so when you have the breakdown of the black family, where you have a young man that's raised by a valiant, hard-working woman by herself, he's gotten half of the lessons. Now, oftentimes he comes out and he's just fine.
Right.
But there's going to be something about that man that is going to be deficient. Whether it be he's a punk, whether it be he's gay, whether it be he doesn't know how to have a communication with a woman on an adult level, whether it be he just expects his woman to be his mama, whatever it is, if there's not a man in his history, in his present, as he was growing up, I really honestly believe, that's not to say that every guy that was raised with a man is 100% great. That's not what I'm saying. But you're already starting behind the eight ball if you ain't got it. And so that's one of the things that I think we need to address. And so that doesn't mean that she needs to, give him a pass. But if she's really into him, she may need to have that understanding. And then they come to some sort of understanding together and they identify what their issue is. But he's got to want it.
Right.
Definitely. He's got to want it, and he's got to be able to understand his deficiencies. And I think that's where it's great, where a lot of times we don't ask for help. I don't see no problem going and talking to somebody. Go have some therapy. Because if you are in a conversation with this man in this question and he's not communicating with you, but when you present it to him, he's like, what? What's the problem? I'm doing everything I'm supposed to. I'm here. I pay the bills. I'm home. If he's giving you that, then that tells me, the kind of the opposite to what you were saying, Broderick. Maybe he is into you. He don't know how to communicate with you. And maybe you need to get some help as a couple.
Right.
Everybody's job has the EAP program. You know what I'm saying? Use it. Because if you don't use it, it's going to go to waste. You paying for it, you might as well
use that counseling.
You might as well
that
use
free
it.
counseling.
You know what I'm saying? And I think oftentimes we, particularly we as black men, we have this thing where I don't need no help. I'm all right. And the next thing you know, you so damn sick you can't even move because you wouldn't go to the doctor, or your leg done fell off because you done got all kinds of stuff going on. In your head is all crazy did something stupid because you didn't have no outlet. So yeah, that's what I think.
Right. I definitely agree. Joe, I'm sorry you had said something on the side there.
That truly couch time is a wonderful thing.
Oh.
We shy away from, as black folk, and I got to go back there. We shy away from actually getting that help that we need because of our pride.
Mm-hmm. It's ingrained in our culture. You don't need any help. You're not crazy. That's the message. Okay. Well, I'm wrapping it up. I don't have much more that we need to discuss tonight. Maybe we can continue the next time I come.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to it. Every fourth Monday of the month, we have the Dating Pool Diva and the Diva Diaries. So thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing this to us absolutely. Thank you for bringing this to us every single month. And obviously, I don't know if you hear my voice, but I'm definitely distracted. And so I'm ready to go ahead and take a break and get us the hell on out of here tonight so I can go home and go home and we're gonna come back with our rants and our closings. I'll have some words on what happened in Ferguson tonight in my rant. Absolutely, I'll definitely change what I was going to talk about. If anybody in the room wants to say anything, that'll be the time to do it. If any of the listeners want to jump in, 804-402-2893 will finish the show with words of rants and closings. And if you want to talk about Ferguson, that's what we're going to do. Marcus J. Steppin. Marcus J. Be back in a few minutes.